Hey everyone. So thanks Jonathan, and before I start, a big thank you to Paul and Storm and Joko and all the Helper Monkeys and everyone for putting this all together, and especially getting me out here from Boston, which involved a frantic 6 a.m. flight change, and it was and they did a great job of it, and so I really appreciated that. So people are generally, when I do one of these, there are a lot of people who are seeing me in person for the first time. And I think that although intellectually everyone knows I'm not a stick figure, there's still that moment of surprise where I meet someone and they'll like, "Hi, good to meet you," and then sort of like, "So and you're a real person." And you can see they're thinking like, "Well, of course I didn't think he was a stick figure," but but no, I am not a stick figure, and I also don't wear a hat. I have trouble finding my size. So not all of the things that are in the comic are actually about me. However, I did build a ball pit in my house. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that and how you can do the same thing yourself, some of the problems that I encountered and how to work around that. But first, I wanted to share the results of a few calculations I've done. See, this is my first time on a cruise ship, and my first look at it was when I was doing the schematic diagram of it that you may have seen on the posters and the screens around the ship. Which, by the way, I did not have the nice side view cutaway that is helpfully up there when I was doing it. I had to reconstruct it from the individual deck diagrams, placing them on top of each other in Photoshop, and then stretching them to try to fit, because it turns out they're not quite to scale. If anyone tried to construct a ship just using those diagrams, it would not float. But so I was blown away by, like, just in the very obvious how big it is. It's mind-boggling that something this big can move. And so one of the first things that I started to wonder about and tried to work out is, what would it take to make it fly? And the answer, after I got through a bunch of research, was a little under 3,000 extreme heavy lift helicopters, each one with a 1-inch strand of Kevlar cable. They have to be arranged in like a layered setup, but far enough apart that the downwash didn't throw them all over the place. Or, I didn't realize, a simpler approach is a half-kilometer wide balloon. Let's see, and then I just started, I figured out the internal volume of the ship, and then the first thing I worked out was, if the ship were filled with meat, it would be 600 billion calories and sustain everyone on board for about 250 years.
Wow.
And then I just realized that the ship is filled with meat. Which led me to my next calculation. Namely, if everyone in this theater and the rest of the sea monkeys and performers were somehow caught in a carnivalesque situation, stranded at sea, with no hope of rescue, we could survive by eating the other passengers for 400 to 500 days. Although we should try to keep that quiet until that actually happens.